Here's my audience. For this week's lesson, we were supposed to search up common problems in our workforce. For mine, I chose vicarious trauma. Just a real quick review, what vicarious trauma is trauma that's passed on from your clients over to you through their traumatic experience, through what they're going through in the case. This is a negative thing, but there are many ways to overcome them and to avoid them. According to ABBA Journal, they posted a brief summary of how to avoid things like this. And one of their things is creating healthy distances between your workplace and home life, because if you do fall victim to this sort of trauma, you sort of mix the two in and you don't really take time away from your work, which also leads to, like I said in the previous video, problems with relationships, especially at home, and with your client, because you'll be so overly involved in the case. But there are certain aspects you can use with vicarious trauma. You can use them as a positive, and something that I like to say, fuel to your fire. In the satisfaction section, when you're dealing with this trauma, it's only pressure, and you're gonna deal with a lot of pressure doing what I would like to do. And someone's gonna wanna hire a lawyer, like I'm talking about, who can work under this pressure, who can succeed under the pressure, because it's not always easy dealing with these tough cases. You're gonna run into a lot of problems, and the trauma is gonna be there, but it's all about how you deal with it. And like I said, you take on the pressure and you set boundaries. This creates a healthy relationship between you and your client and sets you up for a lot more success. Visualization. So picture you're in a big case, someone's dealing with a lot of pressure. The last thing that client wants to get back is that same pressure towards them. You need to keep a cool head, a level head, and you need to be calm throughout, and you need to work in a professional manner, because this is what that person's putting their time and money into. Because they can't do it on their own. They're going through a lot of pressure. They don't know how to deal with it like you can. You need to put yourself out there and be professional the whole time. Like I said, keep calm, be worth the person's time and money. And I'll go back to it again, set boundaries to cope. Also, according to ABBA Journal, it's said that lawyers tend to have coping mechanisms. A lot of them are, not a lot of them, but a certain amount of them are negative. One of them is relying on substances like alcohol. We don't want that. You want to avoid that, and there are ways to avoid that, and I'll get to that. Action. Use the trauma you go through as extra motivation to do well for your client. I'll go back to, again, fuel to your fire. Those two go together. At the end of the day, all you can really do is put your best foot forward, work hard for your client, and the results will take care of themselves. If we do this, you'll see a good outcome. And if you set boundaries, if you take your time out of it, it also on ABBA Journal talks about setting time every day to exercise, do yoga, travel, spend time with your family. These things are what's going to give you clarity through this, through the trauma that your client's going through. And clarity, especially to me, is what I think allows you to succeed. You got to have clarity, and you got to do well. You got to work as a professional. All right, that's it.
Very good, Zach.